Hey everybody, it's the top 10 list. We've made it. If you didn't know, this is part of a much larger series. It was our top 50 games on the Nintendo Switch. Somebody asked me, what are your favorite games on the Switch? And I decided, foolishly, I was going to do a top 50 list. I've already done numbers 50 all the way up to 11. It was 4 other videos. This is the 5th video in the series. So pause this right now, go back and watch the other ones, get all caught up. And here we are with our top 10. Okay, keep in mind, this is my list. These are the games that I like the most. If your list is different, that's totally fine. We don't have to agree on everything, but let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? What are your top 10 games for the Nintendo Switch? And number 10 is probably one of my favorite games of all time. I've bought it 3 damn times. I bought it on PC. I bought it on PS4. I bought it on Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch is the best place to play it, I think, and that is Diablo 3. It is a fantastic ARPG. It is, as far as we just had firmware 8.0 come out. I think it was yesterday, the day I'm recording this, and I checked the top played games on the Nintendo Switch. Diablo 3 was number 5 for me, which really surprised me because that game just came out last November and I've dumped a lot of hours into it already. If you've not played Diablo, it is a wonderful game. Gorgeous visuals. It looks really, really nice on the Switch. Obviously, it'll look better on PS4 and PC, but it looks really nice on the Switch. And if you had asked me, Bill, is there any way that Blizzard could make a point-and-click game like Diablo work on a console? I would have told you absolutely not, but they did, and they did in such a wonderful job. They did a wonderful job with the controls on this, and it's so fun, and console is the way to play Diablo. So if you haven't picked it up yet, I mean, right now it's on sale, but by the time the video comes out, it might not be on sale anymore. But for $60, it's a steal. I almost wish that Blizzard would put out a demo for this game, because if people play it, they will get hooked. It's one of those games that once you play it, you're like, oh my God, this is wonderful. It's just an amazing game. Now, this is a M-rated hardcore game here at number 10. When we go to number 9, we're going to go to a very, very different style of game. Oh my God, just even the color palette is different. And that is Puyo Tetris. This is a wonderful Tetris game and Puyo game. And you combine the two into, first off, don't play this online unless you are one of those puzzle game gods. Do not play this online because you're going to get destroyed. Okay. But it's really fun to play multiplayer and even single player. Some of the voice acting in the game is very annoying, and the story is something that I could not care less about, but the gameplay itself is just really, really great. I don't understand how they managed to do it, but they managed to take these two style of games that play very differently and just smash them together in not only the fact that one person could be playing Puyo, the other person that they're playing against is playing Tetris, but they also have versions where they take both games and you play both of them at the same time. It's got like a single player campaign with a really annoying story that I don't care about. But it's fun to play through. And if you're just looking to practice some Tetris, then you can't go wrong with Puyo Tetris. Now, saying that means that I need to qualify, because this is a much better way to practice Tetris than playing Tetris 99, which is number 8. Number 8 is Tetris 99. It is exclusive to people who have Nintendo Switch Online, which is $20 a year, I think, off the top of my head. And oh my God, this game is amazing. And the people who play it are just puzzle game gods. I don't understand how they do what they do, but they do. And if you haven't played Tetris 99 and you have Nintendo Switch Online, then I don't know what you are waiting for. This game is fantastic. Maybe you hate Tetris games. I don't know. I adore Tetris. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's you versus 98 other people. This is Tetris Battle Royale, and it's done incredibly well. There is a meta game on top of just playing Tetris. The one thing that I think would make this game rank higher for me is if it had um, a ranked mode where it put me up against people who are bad at the game like me. Quite often, I get put up against people who are amazing, and my screen quickly fills with gray blocks in the bottom before I get a chance to really do much of anything. But Tetris 99 for the low price of 0 if you already have Nintendo Switch Online, and honestly, it's worth $20 by itself. It really is. It's so fun, and make sure that you check that game out because it's really good. Let's go back to the launch of the Switch back in March 3rd of 2017. The Nintendo Switch launched over 2 years ago now, and when it launched, it had very, very few games. And one of the few games that launched with it was Blaster Master Zero. And I remember distinctly when I was a kid, I was at a New Year's Eve party with my parents, and all the kids had gone into this other room, and we were playing Nintendo games, and I saw this game Blaster Master, and I was like, "What is this?" I'd never heard of it, and so we put it in, and I got to try a little bit of it, and I thought it was really, really cool, but I didn't own it myself, so I never really had like an attachment to Blaster Master. But there were very few games to play on the Switch when it first launched, so if you weren't playing Zelda, you were like, well, I kind of want to try something else and see what else this system can do. And Blaster Master Zero was one of those games that came out right alongside it. In fact, I think it launched, yeah, it launched March 9th of 2017. So it came out right afterwards. But this is a side-scrolling Metroidvania game. Again, if you've been watching this whole list, you know that I like roguelikes and Metroidvanias, and this is one of the best ones. Super, super good game. I had so much fun playing it, and it really surprised me how much I enjoyed it. The graphics are very, very simple, but the thing that I like is that you kind of change between two different versions of the game. Like there's a side-scrolling version, Metroidvania, and then there's a top-down dungeon crawling game. And both parts play really, really differently, but somehow they're able to marry those two things together and make them awesome. I really enjoyed this game, and there's also a sequel that is on the Nintendo Switch that just came out recently, Blaster Master Zero 2, and that's another one that I would also recommend. I couldn't quite put it on here because I haven't played very much of it, but it's really good, as is this. The thing that I want to point out is that this is one of those games that Inti Creates was like they have a DLC for this game where it was free if you downloaded it when it came out, but then it costs money now, and the DLC is very cool where they added in other characters from other games, like I think Shovel Knight and somebody from Blue. I can't remember the other game that they added them in from. But oh wait, I can look at the add-on content right here. Yeah. Okay, so they added a character from Gunvolt, they added a character from Ikoro, and they added Shantae, and they added Shovel Knight. So these are extra characters that you can add to the game for $2, which is $2 each, by the way. But it's pretty cool. But the game is $10, and it's a no-brainer. Definitely pick it up, and that's why it's number 8 on my list. Number 7 on my list is a game that I sunk a lot more hours into. It actually surprised me how much I enjoyed this. I was going to completely pass on this game, and then I was watching somebody stream it on Twitch, and I was like, oh my god, I think I might have to buy this. So I bought it that day, downloaded it, and was playing it right away. And that is Pokemon Let's Go. I have the Pikachu version, but the Eevee version is basically the same thing. And it's Pokemon. It's basically the original Pokemon game remade. I had so much fun playing this game, and my son is downstairs playing it right now. He's had a lot of fun with it too. He's actually completely finished it, and he's working on completing his decks, where I have a few gyms to go yet, just because I get distracted by shiny things all the time. But it's a gorgeous game. It plays really, really well. They made some poor choices, I think, forcing you to use a single Joy-Con when playing with a Pro controller would have worked just as well. Forcing the motion controls for throwing Pokeballs at your intended target. Like, I think that those were mistakes that were made, and I think maybe it would have ranked higher had they not made those mistakes. But it comes in at number 7, or wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I guess number 6. Sorry, I must have miscounted. But it's a really good game, and if you've not played it, that's a really good game to start with for Pokemon. Another Metroidvania, though, is a game that I'm going to be talking about next, and that is Steamworld Dig 2. Huge fan of Steamworld, the Steamworld series. Every time that oh god, what is the name? Image Inform is the name of the developer. Every time Image Inform puts out another Steamworld game, they somehow find a way to make it a different genre. And Steamworld Dig 2 is the only one that's a sequel. So the original Steamworld Dig, that was a Metroidvania style game. And then they made other genres, and then they brought back the Metroidvania style game. And I feel like they really nailed it this time around. And Steamworld Dig 2 is an amazing, amazing Metroidvania game. If you've not played it, you absolutely need to. These screenshots that they have on the site are, I don't know what is wrong with. I'm gonna reload this page. Nope, it's not helping. The screenshots that they've got on this are oh, this is the 3DS version. That's why. So I'm looking at the wrong thing. Steamworld Dig 2. I want to look at the Nintendo Switch version so we can look at the better screenshots. Oh, and some video too. All right, sorry about that. Fantastic game. You are in this like desert area, and there's like this weird town with hilarious writing, and you are looking for the character from the first Steamworld Dig. And it's just wonderful controls, great gameplay. And overall, I think that this is probably one of the greatest Metroidvania games that has ever existed. So make sure that you pick up Steamworld Dig 2. It costs $20 on the Nintendo Switch, and I think it's a steal at that price. All right, number 4. We're getting down there, guys. It started at 50. All right, number 4 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I don't know what else I can say about it. It's one of my most played games on the Switch. It just came out in December, for crying out loud, and it's still one of my most played games on the Switch. It's got the largest roster of any game probably ever in the history of video games. It's still getting more content. If you like fighting games, this is my favorite fighting game of all time. It's so fun. The graphics are gorgeous. The audio is fantastic. It's got 900 songs in the damn thing. There's a million things to do in the game. And it's also just awesome to sit down and fight against other people, either online or offline, with people, sitting on the couch next to you. Smash Brothers Ultimate is the ultimate version of Smash Brothers, and I don't think anybody is surprised that it is on my top 10 list. It had to be. It absolutely had to be on my top 10 list. Number 3 on my top 10 list may surprise some people, and that is Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania is a game that is made by... It was basically Christian Whitehead was working on his own Sonic game, and then Sega said, you know what, why don't you just come work for us and we'll publish it. And that's what they did, and he is a huge fan of the Sonic series, and he made an old school Sonic game. And if you've not played it, it's number 3 on my list. It is a wonderful experience to play this game. So much fun. If you don't like Sonic games, then you're not going to enjoy this one. But I adore this Sonic game. Now, I've always enjoyed the side-scrolling Sonic games, but I've not enjoyed the 3D Sonic games. I don't know what Christian Whitehead did in order to make this game feel so perfect. This game feels like somebody had made this game all those years ago, and it's just been sitting in a vault waiting for us to unlock. And it's wonderful. It's fast. The music is great. The graphics are great. The controls are perfect. And if you are looking for a good Sonic game to play, you cannot go wrong with Sonic Mania. It's $20 on the Nintendo Switch, and even if you don't have a Switch and you're looking for, play it someplace because it's fantastic. All right. Nobody is going to be surprised at my top two games. I don't think anybody will be. My number two is Super Mario Odyssey. It won Best Family Game at the Game Awards in 2017. It's a $60 game. It's got DLC where you can keep doing other stuff after you finish. It is quite possibly my favorite 3D. It is my favorite 3D Mario game. It is so fun to play. The world, every world that you go to is fully realized, and when you play this game, you realize what Nintendo does. They find a new mechanic and they say, this is our mechanic for a little while. We're going to make you perfect this mechanic, and then we're going to move on to a completely different mechanic. And that's how this plays. They started that style of gameplay back in Mario 64, and this is that gameplay brought forward to absolute perfection. It is an amazing game, and if you haven't played it, you're missing out on one of the best games ever. And honestly, the ending to that game, and don't worry, I won't spoil it for those of you who haven't played it, the ending to that game is probably one of my favorite endings to any game ever. It was just amazing, surprising, fun, and beautiful, and the cutscenes were great. The music was awesome and weird at the same time. And if you've not played it, you're missing out. Go play it right now. Okay, number one. I mean, nobody's surprised by this. Anybody who's ever watched my content knows my favorite game of all time is Breath of the Wild. And that's why it's got to be number one on the Nintendo Switch. It's my favorite game of all time. This is the launch game for the Switch. This game is the reason why the Nintendo Switch has succeeded. This is why my podcast has succeeded, is because of this game. Nintendo put this game out, and they have ruined all other open world 3D games for me. I remember this came out and Horizon Zero Dawn. Both came out, I think, in the same month. And I picked up both games, and I played this first, and I regret playing this first, because playing Horizon Zero Dawn, which on its own is a fantastic achievement of gameplay and fun and an amazing story, it doesn't hold a candle to Breath of the Wild as far as just the moment-to-moment gameplay. And I don't feel like I can spoil this game for you. There's no story in this game. That's one thing that separates Horizon Zero Dawn from Breath of the Wild, is there is no story. And people will argue with me on that, and that's okay. Leave your comments down below. There's no story in Breath of the Wild. The story of the game is your story of the game. Oh, first I went to this place, and then I went to this place, and then there was a Lionel there that destroyed me, and then I climbed up on this tree and dove into the water, and I went boar hunting for a while, and then I was fighting a moblin up on a plank with a spear. It's your story. Or I just finished killing all these monsters, and then a blood moon happened, and they all came back. And then a guardian showed up and started shooting lasers at me, and but he missed me and hit the Lionel that was about to kill me. Like, the thing about Breath of the Wild is when you play this, there's going to be moments when you're like, I can't believe that just happened in a game. I can't believe that just happened in a game. I can't believe the number of times that I said that while either streaming this on my Twitch channel or just playing it by myself, or just having a discussion with somebody. When I was a kid playing the original Zelda, I remember going to school and my friends and I having a discussion about, oh, did you find the raft yet in Zelda for the Nintendo Entertainment System? You know, or I found a secret thing in the graveyard in Zelda. You know, that kind of thing. And this is that game. Like, this is the perfect sequel to that game from all those years ago, because I had those same conversations with this one where I'd be talking to somebody and I'd be like, "Oh my god, did you guys find this one thing over here?" And they're like, "No, what do you mean?" And then I would tell the story of what happened to me. And that's the thing, is it felt like it happened to me. Breath of the Wild is my number one Nintendo Switch game, and it is my number one game of all time, hands down, without a doubt. Everything else is here, and Breath of the Wild is way up here someplace. It's so good. And if you have a Nintendo Switch and you haven't picked up this game yet, you are doing yourself a disservice, because it is a phenomenon. It's wonderful, beautiful. The music is fantastic. The gameplay is great. And honestly, the moment to moment gameplay, I wonder if it will ever be matched. But there you go. That's my top 50 Nintendo Switch games. Oof, that was a long list to go through. But thank you guys. For those of you that watched every single one of those videos, thank you very much. If you didn't know, I've got a podcast called Nintendo Switchcraft. I record every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so make sure you check that out. I also have a general gaming podcast, which I record on Friday. It's called Run, Jump, Stomp. And then I also have a podcast that I record on Sundays with my buddy Lloyd, where we talk about Google Stadia. So make sure that you find all that stuff over at runjumpstomp.com. If this series was enjoyable to you, let me know your top 10 list down below. Let me know why you picked the games that you picked. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, like, all that stuff. And when you subscribe, click the little bell icon so that you get notified. And go over to my Twitch channel and follow over there as well. And you can follow me on Twitter at RunJumpStomp. But that's my top 10, and we're all done. Whew, that was a lot of work.